Official title is a mindset and strategy coach. Basically what that means is I help people to awaken and fulfill their potential. I work with businesses, sports teams, performers, a lot of different types of people to essentially accomplish the same result. I work with businesses to help them to grow. I work with people to help them resolve challenges that they might be going through, confidence things. So it's a wide range of different areas that I work in. So in terms of my journey and the relevant part of it, my journey really started in 1991. I was 23 years old at the time. Essentially to jump right in, my life at 23 had become an absolute train wreck. And the moment that I saw this building, which looks a lot like the Sky Tower in Auckland, but this one's actually in Seattle, Washington, in the northwest of America. I actually grew up there. I grew up in the southeast in a town called Savannah, Georgia, and lived some time in Atlanta. So about a week before I saw this building for the first time, my father had come to visit me, so he lived about 4 hours away. And look, my journey is really one where I grew up with a superstar brother in an academic family, and he was the one that got all the straight A's. So I was the one who felt inferior and unloved and unwanted by my parents, who were very, and I'm not saying that they didn't want me, I just perceived that because of, the way they treated my brother because he got the grades, and the way, I was treated because I didn't. I realized later in life that they were just worried for me and they wanted me to do well. But as a kid, I believed things like they didn't love me, they didn't want me, and it sent me down a pathway. So by the time I was 13, I was carrying a lot of pain, subconscious pain. And when I found drugs for the first time at 13, I was away. So between the ages of 13 and 23, my life was literally a downward spiral. And so by the time my father came to visit me and he came to see what my life was like, he was in shock because it was imploding all around me. So in a last-ditch effort, he said to me, "You have to leave. You have to get out of here or your life is going to be over." So he had me pack a couple of bags, took me to the Greyhound bus station. If any of you have been in America and know about the Greyhound bus station, he said, "Where are you going to go?" So I pointed to a map that was about from me to that wall away, and I just closed my eyes and I pointed to the northwest. And a friend of mine had mentioned the town of Seattle, so I said, "Well, I'll go to Seattle, Dad." So he gave me $100 and sent me on a 5-day bus trip. So the day that I got out, 8th and Stewart in Seattle, Washington, it was just a few blocks from this, and I was carrying these bags, and every few steps I had to put them down because they were heavy. It was basically everything I owned. And I had $5 left at that point, and I didn't know a soul in that town. As often happens when you're in your lowest moments of your life, that's when the greatest opportunity actually occurs for you, and that's what happened to me. Why it was that moment of epiphany, I don't know, but that's when it happened. It came in the form of, you might call it just a voice from within or an epiphany that I had, but it was these words: "Sridhar, there's an infinite potential for your life. Thus far, you've lived the absolute lowest one. What are you going to do?" And that was the turnaround moment in my life. So that was 30 years ago this year. And it took me a little bit of time to turn things around, but that was the seed that was planted where my life started to change. Ironically, I couldn't carry those bags around anymore, so I took my last $5 and put my bags in the Greyhound bus locker, and that was literally the moment I had nothing. I had nothing. I didn't know anyone, I had nothing, and the clothes that I was wearing was it. I never went back to get my bags. But that was the journey that it started. So from that point forward, I became really hungry. I didn't know what this potential thing was, but I know I had to find it, and I know I had to fulfill it. So I did what people do. I went to the people that were meant to know, right? The gurus of self-help in America, a lot of them were there at the time. So I just started to work really hard. I started to go to their seminars. I started to go read their books, et cetera, to try to learn about this potential. So one cool thing that I did come across pretty early on in my journey was this understanding. I saw this, which was, if I was going to fulfill my potential, there were different areas or aspects of life that I would be looking at doing that in. And these are all the different, and some people say that there's 8 or 9, or some people say that there's 5. I just subscribe to this one, which is that, we all have a career life, we all have some sort of family, we're all social beings, our physical and mental well-being, spiritual, and of course finances. So I began to learn. I realized if I was going to fulfill my potential and understand what it was, I'd need to do it across all of these areas. So that's why my work is across these areas, because I've dedicated certain energies to understanding and uncovering how to fulfill these different areas. Today I'm going to talk about one of these areas which has become much more prominent for me given the last year. I don't think that we all realize what's happening. We're sort of sheltered here in New Zealand. I think we're a little bit blanketed from what's happening in the world at the moment financially. I'll just share this with you because I'll give you a few tidbits today. If you want to learn about the economy, please Google Ray Dalio, how the economy works. Ray Dalio, he's a multi-billionaire hedge fund owner that has just become a philanthropist and is giving knowledge to people and just is trying to help people with their finances. But he talks about how economies actually work and the productivity curve. We literally, for the first time in, I believe, history, somebody may correct me, are literally stopping the productivity curve. We're just stopping it. We're shutting things down. That has an effect. It's going to have a major domino effect in the world. It can't not. I want to just share my journey, and that's all I can do. When I started to go to these people, and this is something that I'm really, really passionate about, and I'm only sharing it from my perspective, about 98% of the stuff I learned from the people that were supposed to know didn't work. And I'm going to say that again. About 98% of the stuff that I learned from the people that were supposed to know didn't work. That's phenomenal to me. And I mean the people, I was paying them a lot of money to go and learn this stuff, but I'm a person that I'm going to put it into action. And I say, when people come to me, put the stuff I say into action. Don't take my word for anything. Do it and then tell me if it works or not. And that's the mentality that I've done. So I just wanted to share that because my work has been about what is that 2%? What is that 2% that actually does the job? And that's what I've been dedicated to for the last 30 years in different areas. We're going to have a chat about financial freedom today. So my first question is this. How many people want financial freedom? And if you look around the world, what percent of the people do you think want financial freedom? Everyone, right? Pretty much. 99.999%. So virtually 100% of people want financial freedom. So how many people achieve it? How many people in this world today are financially free? Truly financially free? 1%. 1% of this world has what 100% of this world wants. How can this happen? Now I add another percent because another 0.5 to 1% are doing enough things that they're on the way. So I'm going to categorize those people as being financially free. That still gives a maximum of 2%. Think of all the people in your life. Unless you're one of them, think of all the people in your life. How many people have total financial freedom? We don't have it, do we? 98% of people don't have what 100% of us want. And that's not true just in financial, by the way. It's true in relationships. How many people have the relationship that they truly, truly want? It's like we're not given the right stuff. You'll hear my voice when I say this because it's a tragedy to me. When I realized this, I really started to go, look, I want to find the answers. And I started to go to these seminars and these financial seminars, and I wasn't getting there. And then I started learning stuff like this. And this is a very conservative percentage. And this is in the developed world. We have to rely on others for financial assistance at retirement. We work 30, 40, 50 years of our life to have to rely on somebody. The government, who can't wait for your $500 every 2 weeks when you retire? Does anybody know why they created superannuation? Who thinks that's a compassionate thing from the government? That's not compassionate. It's to get you off their back. It's to give you the minimum amount so that you're not a burden on them. Who can't wait to work your whole life for that? But that's what's happening. And then I learned stuff like this. This was written around the lockdown time in the stuff paper. Only 5% have enough money. 5% of New Zealanders have enough money to last 6 to 12 months. 5%. This really started to sweat people in the lockdown. 20% of people could only last a week if they lost their job in this whole country. And this one is just shocking. 60% have savings of less than $500. In my journey, I was just going to seminar after seminar, and like you do when you're trying to find some information, you don't find it. I was getting frustrated. But then I could see some people doing it. I was just like, what am I missing? And I was sitting at a seminar one time out having some coffee or whatever, having a drink outside, and I was sitting with a group of people at a table I didn't know, and they happened to be at the seminar. And I was sitting there going, this is yet another seminar that is not working and all this sort of stuff. And they said, oh, well, would you like to know some of the secrets of the wealthy? And I'm like, well, who are you to be telling me that? And I was sitting with people that were super wealthy, the top 1% wealthy people on the planet. And they said, would you like to know what we do? And I said, yes, please. And there it was. Don't give up. It'll happen. It'll happen in some of the most strange ways. It's been my experience over the past 30 years. But this is what they said to me, and please write this down if you're interested in financial freedom. This statement changed my life. Because what they told me was, it doesn't matter how much money you make. If you manage your money wisely, you'll get more of it to manage. And again, this is just not money. Think of for those of you that have a relationship, if you manage that relationship wisely, do you get more or less relationship? You get more. If you manage that relationship unwisely, do you get more or less of it? If you manage your career wisely, you'll get more career. So whatever we manage wisely, we get more of it to manage, and it doesn't matter where we start. So we're going to talk about financial freedom. The stuff I'm about to give you now, again, really changed my life. It's a mindset shift. Why do 99% of people have what 100% of people want? Because they're not in the right mind state. They're not thinking about money in the right way to be able to achieve financial freedom. So I'm going to do a little bit of a quiz and find out what path are you on. Now, by the way, if you're on the path of financial frustration, don't feel bad. You're with 99% of the population. And these are the changes that you can make. What I was told at this day and ever since when I got put onto what I call the powerful pathway of finance, I was told that it didn't matter how much money I was making. And you're going to find out that that's true because I was making a pittance at the time. It didn't matter how much money I was making, it mattered what I did with it. So who can tell me what the 99% of people on the road to financial frustration and stress do with their money? What do we pay? Pay our bills first. What do we pay second? Lifestyle. We pay things first. We go on the holiday, we do things. This is how we live. And we actually nowadays have all sorts of afterpays and all sorts of things that we don't have enough money to do those things, so let's get some more that we don't have to do more of that stuff. This is where we live. This is the type of thing that we live in. And third, this is only for business owners, because if you're an employee, this doesn't apply to you because this gets done already. But the third thing is taxes. How many business owners have I started working with that don't have money to pay their taxes when the government comes for it? This is why they do provisional tax, because at least you're not going to be a year behind. You'll just be 3 months behind. And four, what do? There's four things. What do we do with it? Save, if there's anything left. You just saw the numbers of what's actually left for people generally. So now this is what these people said to me, changed my life. So what do the wealthiest people on the planet, the ones that are progressing, the 1%, what do they do? Pay themselves first. Can you tell me what you mean by that? What is paying themselves? You're right. What does paying themselves first mean? All these self-help books say pay yourself first. So I'm going to get the house I want, or I'm going to do that. I'm going to pay myself first and go and get a spa. I'm going to pay myself first. And I'm not knocking that stuff. I love those kinds of things, and I love holidays. Because when I do this seminar and I ask people who saves in the room, and everybody saves, and I say, what are you saving for? I'm saving for a car. I'm saving for a house. I'm saving for a holiday. None of that is in this category. Why do I say that? None of that is in that category. Why?
It's delayed spending, isn't it?
It's just delayed spending. It's saving to spend. It's delayed spending. Most people think their house is their greatest asset. It's actually their greatest liability, unless they're making money from it. It's a liability. Why? Because it's an expenditure. The definition of an asset is something that produces money. I know that's not the accounting definition, but the financial freedom definition is something that produces money, something that produces an income. Otherwise, how can it be leading to anything in the future? So the real definition, you said pay yourself first even before I put that up, didn't you? That's what PYF stands for. Pay yourself first, but what is your self? Your self is that future self that is going to have an income. So if you're a note taker or a mind note taker or whatever, please note this, that there's only two ways to make money in this world. You either have to work for it or you have to have it work for itself. That's it. There's no other way. I had a person, because I said, I always encourage people to say, is there a third way? Because I would really like to know. I'm hoping somebody's going to say yes, but no one said, well, one guy said yes. He stood up in the seminar and said, yep, I am. He said, I manage employees and they make money. And I said, great, you're leveraging. So from a financial perspective, that's wise. I said, but here's my challenge to you. Don't show up at your business for a year and tell me what happens. You're still working. And I'm not knocking that. I'm just saying you're either working for it or it's working for itself. I've done this work for 30 years and I've been interested in mind state and how it actually attracts success in your life. And I've been working with this for a long time and seeing people attract success for a lot of years on a lot of different levels. And what I found over this 30 years, if you want to know, the universe is not biased. This world is not biased. It doesn't like some people and not like other people. When those people that you think are lucky, there's certain things about them. It's a mirror. This place is a mirror. If you think you can't do it, it's going to show you you can't do it. If you believe beyond any doubt you can do it, it's going to show you that you can, and it's going to give you all the support to be able to do it. It's the subconscious mind where this is actually attracting from. So it's your deepest, innermost thoughts that are attracting the reality that you've got. And when you're paying your bills first, what message are you sending to that universe, to that world? Who's most important to you? The power company is most important to you. And guess what? They're wealthy. Thank you for saying that, because I'm not saying don't pay your bills. Don't pay them first. I've only had 2 people in the thousands of people I've worked in this with, 2 people that couldn't pay their bills fully, and we got that right within 6 months, and they had savings at the end of it, started a pathway, and their life is so different now. It's paying yourself first. It's putting something aside that's going to generate an income for you for the rest of your life. Every dollar I put away is going to generate an income for me for the rest of my life. I learned this from Warren Buffett. He said, I learned the secret to wealth when I was 19. 2 words: compound interest. Compound interest. If I set that dollar working for me today, what's it going to be worth in 25 years? So saving first. Taxes is second. Why do I put taxes second?
Cut
to jail otherwise.
Because you go to jail. Or the IRD will be knocking on the door and slapping you with big penalties. So I have a separate account that earns interest. I'm earning interest for 3 to 4 months until the IRD comes for its provisional tax. And then when it's there, I never stress. Here's what people don't realize about finance. This is something that's not talked about. The main reason for achieving financial freedom is freedom from stress. It's freedom from stress. It's not the numbers. It's not the money. It's the impact on this. I know that when I'm in a financially strong place, I can do my work. I'm present with you here today. Whatever you're taking from this, I'm here. I'm not worried about money. I'm not worried about something else. But if I was, where would I be? So the most significant impact of this process is in the number of clients that have come to me and say, I'm not stressed. I've got a testimony I'll put up here about somebody in lockdown. I would have been so stressed, Sridhar. I wasn't. I was happy. And this is a business owner that wasn't making any money. I was happy because I knew all the money that I had. It's the freedom from stress, because the freedom from stress allows us to do things in our life. So money isn't everything, but it's the amount that you have creates a different level of life. That's the bottom line. Stress, when we're stressing, it impacts all the rest of our life. And finance is one of the 2 greatest stresses on the planet for most people. Lifestyle is third. If you save, and this is so interesting, this is what was told to me, and all I can say to you is it's 13, 14 years later and it's worked. I would never lose my lifestyle. I would get to save it and I would get to have it. In 1991, I got a wake-up call, and my work is really about a wake-up call for people, and I realized we're on a journey that may not lead us to where we want to go. And it's a wake-up call to that there's different possibilities in this world than when most of us realize. It's just like, which one are we going to plug into? Which life do we want to live? And most of us are just kind of going along and not realizing there's other ones that are possible. So lifestyle is third, and of course, bills is fourth. So that's the path to financial freedom. It's just turning it around. It's paying yourself. It's saving the first portion of what you make. It's putting it towards financial freedom. Because, and by the way, this is not just an end game. This isn't saved so that one day when I'm 65, I'm going to have something. This is an impact that it's going to have all the way. I'm going to share with you what's happened to my business since I started doing this over the past 13, 14 years. It's phenomenal. And I just save and watch it happen, save and watch it happen, save and watch it grow. I mean, like, I'm sharing this because I'm not some amazing guy. I'm the guy in 1991 who was a train wreck. It's the process. It's what actually you put into place and it happens. And if it can happen for me, it can happen for anyone. That's why I share that story. So the other thing, and this is really interesting because as a mindset consultant, I see this all the time. Really talented people really good at what they do, people that have massive networks still can't get wealth. They're still not getting the wealth that they want. And this is one of the main reasons. So anyone take a guess? Why don't we, what's one of the reasons? One is the management of money. So we don't manage it well. What's the second one? Why don't we achieve the wealth we desire? Anyone want to take a guess? It's a little bit of a clue there.
Poverty mindset.
Poverty mindset. I'm going to say yes to that. It's limiting beliefs. And these poverty mindset's an interesting way to say it because I had a poverty mindset and didn't know it. I grew up in America and I loved football, and I had this favorite team, and there was this lunch box. I was in the 3rd grade, I was 8 years old, and there was this lunch box that had all the helmets on it. I loved football. I mean, I lived and breathed it. I played it after school every day, and I loved it. And I said to my mother, Mom, can I have that lunch box? And of course, you know, if you go and, sorry, All Blacks, but if you go and buy anything All Blacks, it's got like 100% markup on it, right? Than the same shirt that doesn't have that. Well, that was the lunchbox. It was about twice the price of everything else. And Mom said to me, Sridhar, we can't afford that. What did I hear? We're poor. And then I went to my father, and I can't remember what it was. I asked for an instrument or something like that because I wanted to be in the band. And he said, son, money doesn't grow on trees. I actually got him back because in those days we had paper money. But because my father said to me it didn't, I believed what? We were poor. I can't have it. Scarcity. I grew up with a scarcity mindset, and that's what I wasn't getting out of. So, and it's the trouble, the tricky thing with this is that limiting beliefs, we don't even know we have them. You can just see their effect when we keep hitting that ceiling, when we can't get to the next level, when we don't have the idea to generate to the next level of growth. It's the limiting beliefs that are doing that. Why is money management important? Because it isn't just that one of the misnomers is save so that when you're 65 you can be okay. What about the rest of it? I don't want to sow that when I'm 65. I want to enjoy the whole thing. But wise money management has a lot of different benefits along the way. So why is it important? And it's a lot. It's a life of desperation versus inspiration. That's what I was saying earlier. When we're financially stressed, we're governed by the money. We're a slave to it. We have to work for it. It causes a sense of desperation, and it has a control. You know, drugs had a control over my life, and I'm just being honest about that. I don't like things having a control over my life. I know what that's like, and I know where it led me. Money has a control over most people's lives. Would that be true? The more we move towards financial freedom, the more we get to live life on our own terms, including the way we want to work. I mean, a lot of people that achieve financial freedom don't want to stop working. They just don't want to work the way that they are. It's a life of stress versus ease. So the more financial freedom we have, the more ease that we actually achieve. And this is a big one. They just said it to me. These people said it to me, and I've learned, since then. After that, it put me on the right track, and I found the right books, I found the right seminars, I found the right stuff to get the information. They all said the same thing, which is that the more that it's like attracts like. The more money that you actually accumulate over here, the more it starts flowing in. And I found that to be true. And the interesting one is the more it stops flowing out. I was notorious before I started saving money for car breakdowns, and I mean big ones. Thousands and thousands of dollars. So my first car in the first week, Volkswagen Rabbit. Next car, breakdown. I've just had breakdowns. Little twinge in the back of my mind. Don't say it, Sridhar. But so far, it's still happening. I don't have breakdowns. I haven't had breakdowns in the last 14, 15 years. Just don't have them. The numbers of thousands of dollars. And guess where that money's gone? That I've realized doesn't go to car breakdowns. Save it. Put it into that and get it to grow. It's changing the paradigm. So it's a life of stress versus ease. When you manage your money wisely, you get more to manage. It's a law. It's not violatable. Try it. Don't take my word for it. Try it. And when you manage your money unwisely, guess what happens? More of it goes out. That's what they said to me. Your income will grow to match what you're saving. Because they taught me how to save and increase that and increase that and increase that. And I said, but I'm worried because I'm making a little bit of money here. Don't worry about it. Do it and see what happens. Opportunities come in. It's what you manage wisely happens. And I just keep saving and watching it happen. Saving and watching it happen. So the more you have financial freedom, the more you get to choose what you do with your life. It's that simple. And the less you have it, the more you're governed by, I need the money to be able to do that. There's no downside to having a savings plan. And it's more important now than ever to look after yourself financially, to get your mind state in the right place so you're not going to be one of the many people that are going to really struggle. It's already happening. I'm not making this stuff up. And some of those people don't have anything to fall back on. They're part of the 60% that's got less than $500 or they can't last it. It's not sustainable any longer. And I don't know, I'm not trying to be scary, I'm trying to be truthful. These things that we've relied on in the past, look, we've had it good. Let's be clear about something. We as humanity have had it good since World War II. But those times are now changing. Is there still going to be superannuation? I don't know. And you might think I'm trying to be scary in that. I'm not. Where are these hundreds of billions of dollars that we're printing going to come from? Who's going to pay them back? It's like we haven't had to think about these things because it's been good. And I'm not trying to be I'm negative, but for those of you that work with me, I'm all about going, what can you do for yourself to make sure that you're going to be on your dream life? None of this has to affect what you do. That's been my experience. None of this has to affect you if you get your mind state in the right place. But if you follow the herd, you're probably going to end up where they do. I'm pretty open about my story. I've not been so open about my finances. I've just never done it, but I'm bearing my soul. I'm sharing what's happened to me because if I don't, people just think I'm up here saying a bunch of hot air. 13 and a half years ago, I was making $2,000 a month. That was my income. That's where I started. That's why I said it doesn't matter where you start. This is what my life looks like today. We just last year built our dream home. I'm not saying this because I want you to think I'm some great guy. I want you to think about who I have been. I followed a process. I got my mind right and followed a process. Two things. But during the lockdown, I didn't know what was going to happen. I work with construction companies, real estate companies. I mean, I work with all kinds of people. And I'm like, are they going to continue? As it turned out, lockdown was my busiest period ever. And I haven't slowed down ever since. If you have money to see you through, you don't stress. We have commodities. I knew what the word commodity was 13 and a half years ago, but I didn't really understand it. I have them now. I have a share investment portfolio now. I got interested in it because when you start having money and it accumulates, if you maybe already doing this, don't you get interested in how can I make it grow? So now we have a share portfolio, we have rental property. But my favorite, because I love what I do, I hope that comes across. I was told, keep saving and keep on this plan, which is an incremental savings plan, step by step. Keep on the plan and watch your business grow. I get a call from the Real Estate Institute of New Zealand. Sridhar, we're having a whole bunch of real estate agents new in their career come. We'd like you to come and share some keys to success with them. I go up and they paid me thousands of dollars to come up and talk to those people. I've worked with famous people now. They contact me. I work with performers. I work with sports teams that you know about. I work with all these different people because I keep saving. My business has to grow. I have people say to me, but I'm on a fixed income. But you're not on a fixed income. You're on a fixed mindset. And if you start to do a process, your mindset will shift and you can start to get on a pathway that's going to help you to grow to where you want to, if that's something that you're interested in. This is what has happened in 13 years. My life has 13 and a half years. It's changed. It's a totally different trajectory. And this was that frustrated young guy not knowing the answers. So this is what can happen when you manage stuff wisely. When you manage your money wisely, when you dissolve the stuff that's in your way, you get to live a different life. Everything that I've ever done, whether it be in relationships, mental, financial, business growth, business success, fits into 3 areas. Clarity, mindset, strategy. Those are the 3 keys to success in whatever field that you're in. The more clear you are on what you want, the more powerful that's your mind state, and the more effective strategies that you have to achieve what you want, that's your success. So financial freedom is, as it was told to me, and this is a definition that served me really well, when you don't have to work don't have to, doesn't mean that you don't want to, don't have to and have the lifestyle you want, have the choice to do what you want for the rest of your life. That's financial freedom. Never have to work again and have the lifestyle that you choose or want for the rest of your life. And there are degrees of achieving that along the way. So financial freedom is a number. If I'm going to have true financial freedom for the rest of my life, it means that I have a number that's generating a certain income that I'd love to have forever. That's why you pay yourself first, to generate that income. Your number is the amount that it's going to take you that at a particular interest rate on an annual basis kicks out that annual income that you'd love to have. Year after year after year after year after year. It doesn't deplete, it stays. I don't want to, as I get older, get less money. Who's looking forward to that? If you want to know your number, I don't have time to do it, but there's an actual calculation. I'm just going to ask you to give me your card or whatever and say to me that you're interested in doing that, and I'll follow you up and I'll work that out with you. So there's 3 places you can live your financial life. There's 3 places you can live your life from. A life of stress. That's what most people live. A life of settling. This is the one where we just believe what we're taught and we sort of settle for a life that's okay. But there's another one which, this is what I believe we're here for. This is what I woke up to in 1991. We're here to live a life we love. But it's not going to fall in our lap. We have to choose where we're going to plug into. What actions are we going to take? What mind state are we going to be in? It's a life. We're here to live a life you love. We're here to have a relationship you love. We're here to have a mental life that you love. We're here to have a financial life that you love. It's possible. That's what I'm sharing with people. It's possible to live on that plane. Really stop and deeply consider that. Are you living the life that you love and desire? Are you getting what you deserve? Most people I ask that question to say no. And if we don't stop and ask it, we won't get on the track to do it. I'm doing a 12-week program on financial freedom. And basically what it's going to cover is, what is it? I'm going to show you step by step by step exactly what I've done, exactly what was taught to me that has got me where I am. I'm still on my way, by the way. I've got years and years and years left to go. I'm excited about where things are going. How to use wise money management to grow your income. Learn the secrets of the wealthy. And these are the real ones. These aren't like, I know this is just bandied around. But this is what really happens. Life-changing technique to dissolve blocks and beliefs. If you just came and got that, it'll change the rest of your life. Understand the 2 worlds of money. See, a lot of people are afraid of it. A lot of people are afraid of the investment world, but there's nothing to be afraid of. It's just mindset shift in terms of it. So again, I don't give specific advice in there, but we get you more comfortable with understanding that. And how to convert debt into financial freedom. So this is a massive one. So these are some of the things that we cover in the program. If you don't know if you're interested, there's 3 types of people. Yes, I'm in, I'm not sure, and absolutely not. Either way is a choice and it's all fine. If you're one of the people that have questions, or if you want to know your number, let's have a conversation about it. I'm not going to hold you till you have to be in the course. I'll just do your number for you and you'll have that information. And if you know that you want to be in it, also let me know that. So I'll be here for a few minutes afterwards. If you have any questions or you know that you want to do it, let me know, or have any questions about anything else. So thank you. You guys have been great. I appreciate your attention and participation especially, and thank you for having me.